there's a reason why I'm wearing sunglasses right now. We're welcoming Oakley as the official on-field sponsor and partner of the NFL. And to talk about that in the quarterbacks around the league, please welcome to the breakfast table once again, Jordan Palmer.
Hey, what's up, Jordan?
Hey, how we doing? How we doing?
Jordan?
Great.
So we see that the new Oakley visors are kind of taking the league by storm. We're rocking the shades, of course. Can you tell us about that and what's going on with the gear that they're providing for the league?
Well, last night was a big night. Right in the middle of Times Square, Oakley announced a partnership with the NFL to be both for the on-field visors, coaches, eyewear, to be the official partner.
Look at that.
Announced a partnership with a couple of the players, Patrick Mahomes, Juju Smith-Schuster, Derwin James. Also announced a partnership with the teams, the New York Giants, Kansas City Chiefs, and the Los Angeles Chargers.
Very nice. Kyle?
This is so cool. I love it. It's Charles Oakley, too. New York. They got history there, right? I used to wear the frog skins back in the day. Love Oakley.
Oh, those are bad.
And anything that puts more visors on the field, we love, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's cool. The technology is actually a game changer. It's not necessarily just like a looks thing or a marketing thing. Like the Prism technology that I've been around a bunch and got to be on the shoots and take the guys by the headquarters and all that stuff. You literally see the ball better, makes certain colors pop, enhances contrast. It's actually going to be one of those things for players. They go, man, this is a game changer, whereas for fans look at it and go, this is just dope.
That's what's up, man.
Well, we saw the ultimate game changer over the weekend. As a guy who makes his living with quarterbacks, you know, Andrew Luck is a unicorn, once in a lifetime. He walks away at the age of 29. What's your reaction?
Well, you know, I just watched my brother do this. I know my brother did it at the age of like 39, but the reality is he could have played a couple more years. And you have to be all in on this. This thing is 24/7. You know, playing quarterback in the NFL, it's 12 months out of the year, full commitment. And what we don't know is how the stress and the strain that these injuries and the feedback and the rehab, and you just don't know. And it's so easy for fans to go, well, this is what I would do if I were him. Yeah, but you're not him, and you don't know. And so I just think as a player who watched a lot of players do this, it's crazy that it's Andrew, and it's crazy that he's 29 and that he's leaving the X on the table. But the reality is you have to be all in 12 months out of the year. And if he believes that he's not, he's a guy that I believe.
Yeah.
And I go, well, then he's not.
And Colts fans were left restless that night. But now as the days have gone by, we're 48 hours removed. I said it on the show, and I'm hearing it a lot. There's now this new kind of feeling and positivity around Jacoby Brissett. You are a quarterback whisperer, quarterback guru. When you see Jacoby Brissett's film, what do you see?
I'm a believer. I remember watching him in New England, and my brother and I having a conversation when Brissett and Garoppolo there, and a couple other guys who were playing at the time, all saying, I don't know that Brissett's not better than the Garoppolo guy a few years ago. You also look at what he did with the Colts. So 2 years ago, he led the NFL in sacks.
Yep.
I think it was over 50 sacks. Last year, I think Andrew Luck was sacked 16, 18 times, something low. That rebuilt offensive line is the entire storyline for the Indianapolis Colts. But Brissett, I think if you look at him and Garoppolo, because I don't think it's about comparing him and Andrew Luck.
No one can be.
Coming out of there, I think he's got more arm talent. He's a better athlete and a similar foundation. Yeah, Andrew Luck is so unique and so dynamic in certain areas. It's just a bummer for football that it's over for him. But now, looking forward to the season with the Indianapolis Colts, I think a bunch of the guys on that offense in that locker room are sitting here going, hey, whoa, I believe in Brissett.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to watch him play.
So much chatter, meanwhile, here in New York about Daniel Jones. Puts on a show in the preseason, looks good, maybe against some backup players, we don't know, but it's already this thing where people are saying, you should line up down the street to apologize to Daniel Jones. Peter was on fire last week. When you watch him play, is he the real deal? What do you see from him? Why has he been so good?
Yeah, well, I've had a chance to spend some time on the field with Daniel. Here's the interesting take that I have on Daniel Jones. He's been really well coached and developed for 5 years. Okay? So he played for Coach Cutcliffe at Duke. Now, they run a pro-style system. They ask him to do certain things that are very transferable to the NFL. He also has a private quarterback coach in David Morris, who backed up Eli at Ole Miss, who's been training a lot of quarterbacks
I don't know
in Louisiana. He's been working with Eli. He's been working with Daniel. So I would say this.
A deeper dive.
Daniel Jones has been well-trained like an NFL quarterback for 5 years. I'd make the argument that guys that are going into their 5th year right now, Teddy Bridgewater, Blake Bortles, Derek Carr, I would make the argument all three of those guys, they've been well-coached for only 5 years. The difference is an experience. So as soon as Daniel makes up the gap on that experience, so I'm just the person who was in the green room when he got drafted and sit there and goes, everyone can freak out, but wait, this dude's gonna ball and he's gonna be ready.
They got me going.
All right.
That was interesting right there. All right, well, let's move this along to another guy that was topic of conversation during that draft, and that's Dwayne Haskins. I've been all in on Haskins since day one. I even said the Giants should have drafted Dwayne Haskins. Now, he didn't start the preseason the way that he would have assumed he would, but I want to break down a couple of plays, and we can go over to the screen here.
Go on.
And what we're going to do is take a look at a play that I guess wasn't so good in that first preseason game, and then one of his better passes in the preseason.
Yeah.
So let's move this along and let's get right to the footage. Here we are right here, and you know this play. We were talking about it during the commercial break.
Call it a different ways. It's this like 0.95 H bullet or something where that receiver is by himself. He's got a tight split. We'll pause it here in a second. Receiver's got a tight split. This running back is free releasing right out of the backfield, meaning he has no protection responsibilities. He doesn't have to block anybody.
Yeah.
Cool? Now the whole read here is what the DB or the linebacker who's covering the running back, this whole play is what does he do? What does this guy do?
And we know what he's supposed to do.
Yes.
He's supposed to be right around here, so this guy has to go underneath, trailing your running back coming out of the backfield.
So my eyes as a quarterback right now are on him. If this receiver, so here's Nate, right, coming across. If this guy comes underneath, the running back should go over the top. We should throw him right over the top. Big gain down the field. If this guy sees it and he comes over the top of the receiver, I'm going to put it on the running back right now.
Yeah.
He reads it correctly. This guy comes underneath. But hey, this is not just his first preseason game. This is the Redskins' first preseason game.
Okay.
He's a little deep and a little wide. He's a little quick. He does a good job. And so Dwayne, go ahead and let that thing play. Dwayne lets this ball go. He actually reads it correctly.
Yeah.
The problem is that as this DB goes, or as this running back chases, he's in a position. And I always tell guys, there are certain interceptions you have to throw to know that you can't throw that ball.
That's a good interception.
That's knowledge.
Okay.
He's
Because it
dropping
doesn't
gems.
count. Doesn't
Okay,
matter.
well, let's move it along then. Okay, let's show this next play where we saw Dwayne Haskins, the potential of what could be with this 55-yard bomb. A little pressure on the QB, sticks in the pocket, and delivers a beautiful rocket.
Yeah, and this is why he is a high pick. This is why people like you, smart people who know football, are all in on
Thank
him.
you.
All right.
Okay? Is his ability to stand in there. Now, is this a throw that only Dwayne can make? Absolutely not. But what I love is shaking off, because he had another interception in that first game.
Yeah.
Shaking that off, coming in here. What made Dwayne great at college is allowing his playmakers to make plays. This is not wide open. If you hit pause at the end, it looks wide open.
You're right.
From his vantage point, it's not wide open.
Yeah.
And he just stands in there, lets it go. He's got a very unique arm talent, and if I'm a Redskins fan, I am excited about what this young man is going to bring to this organization.
Do you think they made the right decision to start Case Keenum week 1 versus Dwayne Haskins?
I do. I think the only time you put a rookie in there and play is if it is so glaringly obvious that you have to. And you got to remember, Deshaun Watson was not the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans until halftime of week 1. So this is an evolving
It's a fluid
story.
situation.
It is. It is.
Jason Palmer, always dropping knowledge. Appreciate you, baby. Good to see you right there.